I'm Pete McCarthy for SNY.TV, and this is Know Your Enemy, presented by Pepsi Max. The Mets head south to face Miami for a weekend set, so calling in to chat with us is Juan C. Rodriguez, who covers the Marlins for the Sun Sentinel. Juan, thanks a lot for joining us. And as far as the Marlins go, Jose Reyes has been a big positive for them in the second half of this season. How has he really turned it on? His numbers quite good since the All-Star break.
Oh, no question. The Marlins have pretty much gotten from him in the second half what they kind of envisioned getting from him all year long. And, for whatever reason, he got off to a little bit of a slow start, but, he was kind of thrust into that number 3 hole and was really kind of just taken off as far as just his ability to get on base, giving him some pop of a few homers here and there and some extra base hits. So he's definitely been a big positive in the second half here.
And you look elsewhere in that lineup, and it's a bit anonymous, especially compared to what this team had at the start of the season. When you start to look at the future for the Marlins, 2013 and beyond, what do you think the plan is after all the spending this past off season and then some of the sell-offs during the year? What do you think the plan is for the Marlins going forward?
Well, it's going to be interesting to see this off season. I doubt that they're going to have a similar spending spree as to what we saw last off season when they spent $191 million to bring in Jose and Heath Bell and Mark Burley, but they have some holes to fill. Third base is is a big hole right now. They've got a kid in the minors that they got in the Edward Mujica trade. That's to determine if he's ready or not. Second base, center field is kind of a situation that's in flux right now, with Emilio Bonifacio being hurt. So you have to think he's going to be at one of those spots, and the Marlins will have to find somebody for the other. And then obviously the rotation. You got a lot of young kids right now that the Marlins like that they've gotten in trades, but you got to wonder if start next year if all those kids are going to be in the rotation. If not, they probably have to find at least one other arm to just kind of hold down the fort and, let guys like, Jacob Turner and Nate Eovaldi develop a little bit. So, this could take more than one off season to correct, in terms of getting the Marlins back into playoff contention.
Now, Eovaldi, as you mentioned, one of those young pitchers here, came over in the Hanley Ramirez deal. His last time out, he faced his former team, didn't last long in that ball game. How has he looked early on in his career as a member of the Marlins?
Well, it's been kind of an uneven start for Eovaldi. Obviously the stuff is there, but still not quite the command that you want to see from him. And as Ozzie has mentioned, he's going to be fine as long as he can stay in the zone a little bit more. The walks have been somewhat of an issue for Eovaldi, but he's got a big fastball and a nice slider to complement it. It's just a matter of keeping his pitches in the zone and getting some swings and misses with him.
And the Mets will see Eovaldi tonight, and then again tomorrow they'll see Josh Johnson, a familiar arm in this Marlins rotation. He's the ace, though. His ERA is up at 4 now for the Marlins. Why hasn't he quite been that #1 starter that we've seen from him in the past?
Well, Josh, as you know, missed just about all of last season, with the exception of maybe his first 5 to 7 starts, and really just has not been the same guy this year. I mean, he's shown flashes of it, but the velocity maybe hasn't been where we're used to seeing it in the past. In the mid to upper 90s, it's kind of been sitting more in the 92 range this year, and still been pretty effective for the most part, but just not quite the dominant outings that we're used to seeing from Josh when he was the #1 guy. So, he's coming off a pretty rough start out in L.A. where, gave up, 10 hits and, just very odd to see teams, make as much contact off him and solid contact as they have this year. But, I think the most important thing for Josh is, just getting through this year healthy, and then, the Marlins are hoping, next year he'll be back to where they've seen him before in the past.
And Johnson has lost his last four starts going into this game against the Mets on Saturday, and then Sunday the Mets will see Mark Burley. He's won his last 3 outings. Is he kind of the one guy that's really lived up to the billing as far as all these guys that the Marlins brought in this offseason?
No, no question. Mark Burley has pretty much given them exactly what they thought they would get from him. I believe it's up to about a dozen wins right now, and just Mr. Consistency in terms of giving you the double-digit win total year in and year out. You got that again now. I think it's 12 straight years that he's had 10 or more wins now, and really just pretty much thrived down here. Moved to the NL. The ERA is probably tick lower than it was with the White Sox, and really his strikeouts are up too, which you ask him about that, and it's a big head scratcher for him, but really he's provided some stability to the rotation, and the great thing with Burley also is you get such tremendous defense from him, which we've seen start in and start out, just how he can impact the game with his glove as well.
He does a lot of different things. Juan, thanks so much for the time. Appreciate it.
You got it. Thanks for having me.
And remember, for all the latest Mets coverage, be sure to check in at metsblog.com and sny.tv.